The Gulf War is one of the world's major conflicts, involving multiple nations, including the US, UK, and Iraq, as the main forces on the ground. This leaves Canada wondering when and how they are going to play into this conflict and how it will affect the world. Good evening, I'm Ezra Jones with St. Mike's News, and tonight we'll be talking to Prime Minister Brian Mulroney about Operation Friction, what it entails, and how we will be involved in and his concerns about the conflict. Good evening, Prime Minister. Good evening, Ezra. I'm glad to be here. We're happy to have you. Prime Minister, our sources tell us Canada is sending 3 ships to Kuwait. What are the ships and what will they be doing? So, as of right now, we have sent 2 destroyers, the HCMS Terra Nova and the HCMS Athabaskan. These destroyers will be supporting the naval blockade around Kuwait and offering recon resources to the troops available on the ground. We also have a supply ship, the HCMS Protector, who will be offering various resources and aid to other ships in the blockade. And how do you think this blockade and our ships will help the troops on the ground? Well, the blockade stops all ships from entering and leaving the area. Their job is to search all the ships that they find, and if they find anything of aid to the Iraqi military and their allies, they will seize it. So this means they board the ships and they seize any contraband, and as well as stopping any military ships sent to help, if that were ever to happen. This effectively minimizes the resistance our troops and our allies, and the troops of our allies, will have to deal with. Alright, thank you. So what other ways will we be contributing to the war? So that's a great question. We won't just be sending naval support, we're also sending aircraft, command, and support from various personnel in various fields. In total, we've sent around 4,500 personnel and countless other resources to aid in Operation Friction and Operation Desert Storm as a whole. We'll also be offering medical support. We'll be setting up a field hospital in the area, as well as joint headquarters in the Middle East region. These are the main ways we'll be assisting in Operation Desert Storm, just by giving aid if needed, and that's really it. So, you covered the field hospital and the headquarters, but tell us more about the aircraft and the soldiers on the ground. What will they be doing? Basically, our soldiers will be there in case anything major happens. We're mainly there as support, and this means we won't actively be fighting in Kuwait, but we are more there to be offering resources. Most of our personnel is also there for non-combat missions. As for aircraft, our brand new CF-18 Hornets are more there as a precaution. We likely won't be using them for anything more than reconnaissance and maybe escorting high-value aircraft or escorting other aircraft strikes. However, if our forces are in a situation where we need to fight, we are well equipped and ready to do so. Now, what is it that we want to accomplish in Kuwait? There are many who seem to be against the war. I want to hear your thoughts. I'm glad you brought this up, because what we want is simple. We want the conflict to be resolved. We want Iraq to back out of Kuwait and restore some form of stability to the Middle East region, most importantly. And now for my last question. What are your concerns about the conflict? Are there any areas that are new, any weapons that we haven't gone up against? Alright, so this has been a big topic of discussion. Our biggest concern is the threat of biological warfare. There have been reports that the Iraqi military has been developing and using various chemicals. Due to this, there has been extensive research and precautions taken. we have issued all of our soldiers CBRN gear. This is basically just military hazmat suits. We have also issued all of our soldiers antidotes to the various chemicals the Iraqi military is known to use and might use. Regardless, with all the precautions we have in place, this is a relatively unused form of warfare. There's a lot we don't know, and for that reason, it's a major concern within this military campaign. I see. That is concerning. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for this segment. Prime Minister, thank you for coming on the show. This was Ezra Jones with St. Mike's News, and our next segment begins after a short commercial break.